From the post-millennial, Elon Musk says the reason Kamala has so much powerful support is because Epstein client list will come out under Trump. This is epic. See, and I'm critical of Elon where I think I need to be, but I'm a huge fan, and this is an epic takedown of what is he talking? Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Wow.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Gates.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
4 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
There you go. Gates and Hoffman and many others are concerned that Trump is going to release that information. He said he would.
Oh, yeah.
Trump said he would do it.
Well, now you got the 1-2 punch. You got Diddy and Epstein.
You don't have to even really like Trump at all to want Trump to win just because of the things that would happen under a Trump presidency. You can hate Trump all you want. But like if the client list is going to come out, you know that generally the economy is probably going to do better because it's a better, a more friendly business environment than a Harris presidency would be. The likelihood is the cost of gas is going to go down. The cost of everything else will likely go down because of the increased production of fossil fuels and
right.
It's just the list of things that are likely to happen under a Trump presidency, completely and totally independent of Donald Trump himself. Like, it's enough reason to be like,
right.
I want Trump to win.
You can have economic reasons for wanting to vote for Donald Trump, but the reality is, if you do not like the way things are right now, meaning that there is no transparency on the Epstein situation, that things are very expensive, that people are generally pretty hopeless, that people are concerned about crime and schools and increasing tensions out where you wouldn't then vote for the current VP. You need to vote for Trump, which is this fascinating position that he's in because he is both an experienced president and also the alternative to the current situation. There's one other president in history, right, that's been able to do this where he didn't serve. He served twice, but not consecutively. Right. And I actually think in this case, that is one of the reasons that there are a lot of people who don't necessarily love Trump, but look at Kamala Harris as an extension of the Biden and therefore the Obama and therefore the overarching DNC machine that has kept them in the dark and kept them paying for a lot of stuff. And they're kind of frustrated with it.
Well, and it's interesting to see how the billionaires are drawing sides because there's some billionaires that are for Trump, but not too many. There's not too many billionaires that are for Trump. It seems to be the average man because they want to see what's behind the curtain because we've been hearing about, how long have we been hearing about Epstein?
Yeah.
15 years. Now we have this Diddy stuff, which has been out there. If you were looking for the seeds that were being planted.
Eminem.
Yeah, what was that Eminem lyric? He's like R-A-P-E-R. Did I just spell rapper without the P, Diddy?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it's like, oh, whoa.
There's a lot of stuff. And I think this whole indictment, the original indictment by the DOJ was just to grab all the evidence and hide it. And hopefully there's copies out there. But to keep that out of the limelight while this, so there's no October surprise of, oh, now we have videos and names.
Yeah, I mean, the judge said that the reason that he was withholding the client list is because of the damage to society, or essentially the damage to society that it would do if the list got out, and that is a completely and totally ridiculous reason to.
Right. It's like when Biden says, oh, well, Biden and Harris both say, oh, well, we're not going to go toward the impacted areas, the areas impacted by Hurricane Helene because we don't want to interrupt emergency services, right? Like all presidents are able to pull this off somehow without being a distraction from emergency services, it seems like perhaps you just don't want to. And so therefore you have come up with some sort of fake altruistic excuse. The judge is saying, oh, I don't want to, what it could do to society. But actually what it means is like, I don't want to have to deal
My name's on that list. Is what
right.
the judge
And
is
I don't
saying.
want to deal with the fact that you'll find out that I took donations from whoever. Like there are all kinds of ways people are self-serving in the name while pretending to be for the people.
This song's from 2024 called Fuel, Eminem and JID. And one of the lyrics is, I'm like a R-A-P-E-R, got so many essays. Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Rest in peace, R.I.P., rest in peace, Biggie. Yeah, he's saying it outright.
I mean, there's been a lot of rumors that have gone around for a long time. It's not something that is foreign to people in the rap or the music business world.
And this is why so many prominent pop stars just came out in support of Kamala Harris. Look, a lot of people, like Taylor Swift comes out and she's just like, I'm going to vote for Harris. And it was kind of, I don't know, flaccid. Like she didn't make a very strong case for it, just made her post with a dog or with her cat or whatever. And then you had a couple other people say, well, I think Jojo Siwa was like, what did she say? Like, it's so great of you to endorse, but didn't endorse directly. But then you had...
Billie Eilish endorsed her.
Billie Eilish.
Sort of lackluster.
You had the most aggressive, I think, was Hayley Williams of Paramore, who walks up to the camera and then just spits this, like, misinformation spiel. Donald Trump's Project 2025 wants to take the rights away from women, poor people, LGBTQ. And a lot of people were like, I bet she's on Diddy's list. And I'm like, no. She's not.
She's not.
Her label, maybe. Her manager, maybe. Somebody who's in an organizational position above her music probably said, hey, go do this. Because the people behind the scenes of the labels, are connected to Diddy and whatever it is Diddy was doing. And so they're pulling all the stops, you know what I mean?
It's Clive Davis to Diddy and everybody in between.
Yeah.
But again, it speaks to the elitism.
You don't want to be in between.
Oh, gosh. But it speaks to this elitism that I think Americans are more so than ever aware of right now, that our system would work to protect Epstein and Diddy and, other people, but it wouldn't work to protect actual Americans, let's say impacted by a hurricane. Yeah. I think there is a frustration there. And we were talking earlier about voters who, like, how do you reach them? Are they low IQ or are they just not interested in politics? I think there is a level of, Phil had mentioned on Friday, people vote with their gut, but when their gut tells them they are being abused, they don't want to stick with the current system. I think you'll see voters who won't necessarily be suddenly engaged with politics, but they will say, this is not good and I don't like it, and that will make them turn out. Not all of them, but I think there is the emotional reaction of, I'm done with this. You are treating me badly. I don't want to do this anymore.
I hope. I mean, that would be a wonderful, development. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I believe there are enough people in the movable.
Well, it's something like 5%, right? It's something like 5% are actually truly undecided voters. They'll say 10, but really that includes a percentage that leans right or leans left. And so the question is, for all of those polls, are you polling just people in America who have the right and the ability to vote, or people who are likely voters? Likely voters are different than people who are absolutely never politically engaged, even though they are, they could be legally registered and everything else. They just won't do it. But you can't really count on them to suddenly wake up anyway. So again, it goes after this likely voter who is truly undecided, and that is sort of a unicorn. And I think it makes sense that both sides of the aisle are now sort of messaging to their own people why Kamala Harris would go on a podcast and be like, abortion is such a big issue, because that's how she sort of soft launched her debut on the stage. Anyways, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a point, Biden was still running, but there was a point where they're like, she's going to go on a national abortion tour, which I thought was funny because it was like, go away, Kamala, get out of the White House and do something. But it was sort of the only issue she had tied to her name that she was willing to talk about. Of course, she has ties to the border, but she doesn't want to talk about that, all kinds of stuff. But she don't
want to talk about law and order.
No, doesn't want to talk about. She'll talk about how he's a felon, she's a prosecutor, but she doesn't want to talk about what she did as a prosecutor. Right. I mean, she has a history she wants to walk away from. But again, I think we're far enough down the path. We're less than 30 days out from the election. the idea that you would really convert that last 2% of voters is unlikely. You just now need to make sure the people who are likely to vote, who have voted for you in the past, really are going to turn out to the polls. And I think Harris has a much harder time with that than Trump does right now.
I don't think there's that many undecided at this point. I think people have made up their minds, and I think they're listening to their pocketbook. And, those that are brainwashed, and they think that there's going to be some other, there's another carrot in front of them, and they're going to go with that. But I think it's a lot. If it's an honest election, which we know it won't be, but I can't see Trump not winning or something crazy.
I don't think it's going to be crazy at all. I think it's just the federal government has been putting its finger on the scale since 2016.
Well, they said you can't take names off the voter rolls now.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they made this rule.
Yeah. The federal government has an opinion. Clearly it has an opinion, which it's not supposed to have. I've said this multiple times on the show. The federal government is not supposed to have an opinion on who the population decides they want to run the federal government. If we are actually a government run for the people and by the people, then the people should be deciding who gets in and out and who is taken out of office simply by the vote. And the federal government shouldn't be propagandizing the people or influencing the people. And they shouldn't be trying to say, well, if you vote for me, we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that we give you these special giveaways. And that's the entire business of the federal government nowadays.
Right.
To the point where the president says, hey, we'll forgive your student loans. The Supreme Court says, no, you're not supposed to do that. And they're still saying, well, we're going to figure out a way to do it. There is no limitation to the executive by the rest of the government anymore.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.